Hey, welcome back to my channel, Northern Wisconsin Nature. Jack and I are on a UTV ride here in Northern Wisconsin. Specifically, we're in St. Germain. We just tried a new trail this afternoon. So we're gonna head back over to Woodruff where this trail essentially goes to. So I am using the Polaris app right now. It's very easy, user-friendly trail map to use. Could be used for snowmobiling also, or off-roading, such as what we're doing today. So I do have it up. It's pretty self-explanatory though, and there's the trails are labeled very well. So every now and then we can look at it, but it's about a little over 12-mile ride. So it's going to be a bumpy one, so make sure you hold on tight. And I got the GoPro right now, so I'm going to put you on my head and hopefully you guys got a good view. Here we go. All right. You ready, Jack?
Yeah.
Okay. Get buckled up. Close my door. All right, and then actually I'm gonna move my, I didn't think because of my seatbelt. Move my sound piece here. Okay, I think we're ready to kick her off. Here we go. So we're gonna get turned around here.
Oh, we don't have to use that's our road.
No. So this is also a snowmobiling trail. So some of these signs that you might see don't apply to us because they're, again, for the snowmobiling in the winter time.
Some of the stuff times are covered with garbage bags, so like no snow.
Yeah, there are a few of them that are covered, right? Jack's tired. Alright, so now we're getting over a highway we gotta cross. So that was the first half of the new trail, and the ATV club did a really good job. So you can see they put down new gravel and the big rocks along the side. They did a great job. Alright, let's cross over to the other part. There's some logging trailers. Throughout this trail, you'll see parts of it logged off. Some of the forest here. Get my map out here. Alright, so this is where we're at. Gross. Entering Oneida County. It's bumpy. We got all these roots from the pine trees here. There's a lake over there. I don't know if my app will tell me what lake this is here. Let's see. No, it's pretty small. I don't know if they say any of them. Yeah, there's Carol. Is this one? I don't know. All right, we're almost to J, where we gotta. It's a paved county road that we gotta drive just a very, very little bit, and then we hop on a logging trail, which then turns into the ATV and UTV trails. So. All right, let's keep cooking. All right, this is Jay. And I can follow this going straight to St. Germain, or I'm going to take right here on Bass Lake Road. This was all logged off last year. And just to the right here, you see somebody's going to go kayaking. This is a non-motor lake. It's called Bass Lake. So it's just a beautiful little lake here. Can't take the UTV down there, but drive down here or, you know, park this and walk down there too. So this trail is going to be a little more bumpy for sure. Since Jack, I think, is sleeping, I try to take her a little slower so his head's not bobbing as much, or try to grab onto his helmet, keep his head steady as possible. And if you catch me looking up, I'm looking in my mirror up here to see what's behind me, if anybody. I tend to go slower than most, believe it or not. So if I see somebody coming, I'll pull to the side, let them pass me. like to go through mud puddles if I don't have to, because then you just gotta clean your machine. I did that one time, had a ball, found every mud puddle I could, and then having to clean the machine afterwards just sucks. You just get to a point where you're sick of getting dirty. I mean, this alone, I'm already dirty and dusty. But to get mud all over you and your machine, it's just not fun. Not worth it. So back here, this is all state land. So there's a bunch of logging trails that you could take your vehicle on. Unfortunately, a lot of them, they don't allow UTVs or ATVs, but they've definitely opened a lot of this up though in recent years. So slowly but surely, we've been getting more trails, so it's been pretty nice. Sometimes we find that up here, until you get further north, maybe Mercer, Hurley area, but down here in Woodruff, Minocqua, there is a good amount of blacktop riding. Or you get on a trail and then you gotta go ride on a road for a bit, get on a little bit of a trail and then on a road again, and stop, go, stop, go. One part of a trail around here, you gotta cross major highway, Highway 51 quite a bit. So it just gets to be, I don't know, kind of annoying when you just want to go trail riding. But from what I've heard, Mercer, Hurley area, Ironwood, Michigan is kind of the place to be for some good trail riding, close to here anyways. Alright guys, so this is going to be the end of the trail here. Up ahead is Highway 47, excuse me, where there's an old railroad grade that goes north and south here. So I'm going to cut it off here. I hope you guys enjoyed this ride. If you want to see more, please leave me a comment, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.